welcome back to Cooking with Becca. Today we're going to be making gummy treats. I just recently purchased these molds from Amazon. I got 5 molds with little droppers to put the candies in for $13. And about 2 weeks ago I got the little kit from 7th Avenue that came with gummy worms and fish, and they're bigger gummy bears. And it has the electric heater. Now that also doubles as a s'mores machine. We haven't tried it for that yet. Today I'm going to be making green apple, cotton candy, lemon, watermelon, and raspberry gummies. I'm going to add sour mix to all but the cotton candy. Also we're going to use Knox gelatin and citric acid. Citric acid is what's going to give it that sour flavor. To start off, we're going to go ahead and put the molds in the freezer to begin with. That'll help with setting later. Now we're going to go ahead and put 2 packets of Jell-O. And we're going to mix that with 3 tablespoons of the gelatin. If you're using packets, you'd want to use 3 to 4 packets. Okay. Then I'm just going to whisk that together a little to get it mixed up. And we're going to add a cup of cold water. Mix that in good. Now what you want to do is we're going to let this go ahead and set for 10 minutes. And then we're going to put it on the stove to melt the gelatin. So we'll be back for the next part later. Alright, so I have one of my gelatins going here in the pan. We're going to heat it up to melt it. And I'm going to go that extra step for the clearer candies. So I'm going to take a glass. I'm going to spray it with a little coconut oil. And then we're going to heat this up. And melt. You want to melt it until all the granules are gone. You want to completely dissolve your gelatin. Takes a couple of minutes. You want to make sure to get it dissolved. If you don't, it won't gel. Okay, should be pretty good. Don't see any granules on the whisk there. What we're going to do is we're going to take this and pour it into our prepared glass. There we go. And if you look at the glass, you can see where it's starting to separate. There's a white film getting on the top. That's the impurities rising to the top. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put these in the refrigerator and I'm going to let them set until it's solid. And then we'll come back with the next part. Alright, so it took maybe 2 hours to get these to gel up. We had dinner in the meantime, so I wasn't in a big rush. I just let them set in the fridge. Now we're going to take these out. As you can see from the tops of them, the foam where everything went up. Get down in there, hopefully with the coconut oil. This will be somewhat easy. Got to work a little to get them out. But it doesn't matter. They don't have to look pretty. Because what we're really after here, oh, there it comes. What we're really after here is we want to cut this top part off, this white part off, and that leaves us with a clear. So I'm just going to do like a thin cut down. And this is still fine to eat. It's not going to be sour at this point, but still Jell-O. We're just going for looks right now is all. Okay, I'm actually going to use my little heater here to heat this one. And of course, put them back. You don't need this. You can put them back on the stove in the saucepan. I'm going to go ahead and do that with another one of the flavors. You want to make sure you keep any of that white section off. The whole purpose of doing it in glasses. Like I said, this is totally optional. You don't have to do this. I was just going for that clear color. I'm just going to cut it up and put it in here. Probably going to have to use 2 of these. Last time I made these, I made half batches. So I'm not exactly sure how many gummies we're going to get out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and start melting this down, and I'm going to get these out and work on melting them down also, and then we'll come back when we're ready to put them in the molds. Alright, so here we have, this one's melted. I have the other one, another one going. Just going to stir that up a little. Doesn't take that long to remelt. Let me get out my citric acid here. And I like sour candies. So I'm going to put half a teaspoon of citric acid in here. And we're going to want to mix that up really well. And yeah. Little taste, see how sour it is, if you want it more sour or less sour. Got the other one melting there. I have all my other Jell-Os out. Now we're gonna fill our molds up. Now these molds make 53 candies each, so we'll see how many we get out of this batch. I like to put the molds on a cookie sheet to keep them even. I'm going to go ahead and fill these up, and I'll check back with you when I get them done. So I ended up with approximately 59, around 160 of the regular size gummy bears, the small ones. And then I also did 14 half-filled gummy worms. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to finish filling the gummy worms up with the sour raspberry and try and make a two-tone one on that one. I'm going to let these set in the refrigerator for a bit, and then we'll get back to you when they're ready to be popped out. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes. I went ahead and got my raspberry melted, added in my citric acid. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish off these snakes. I'm also planning on coating about half of these with the sour sugar. So I have a half a cup of sugar over here. I'm just going to mix it with a half a teaspoon of the citric acid. And then when our gummies come out, we can just roll them in that. And they'll give them a little extra sour boost. I have to say, these little droppers make filling these so much easier. First time I did them, I used my turkey baster, which worked, but it's a touch bigger. Not as easy as to control as these little ones. All right, got those full, so I'm going to go ahead and put these back in the refrigerator to set up. And check on my first pan I put in. All right, this is the first pan I put in the refrigerator. Just gonna push that through and they pop right out. Now, they are gonna be they're gonna be sticky. I found that if you leave them in the refrigerator uncovered for a day, they dry out and you lose all that stickiness and they become more like gummies and less like Jell-O jigglers. Of course, when they're at this gummy stage, this is going to be the best time to pop them in that sugar and coat them. But they pop right out of the molds. And these, like I said, they were in the refrigerator less than 15 minutes. To set up like this. Now I'm placing them on a wax paper to put into the fridge. So we just put these on here. Go ahead and take my citric acid. Half a teaspoon in my sugar. Mix this all up. Just put a few in here. Roll them around and just give them a little sugar coating there. Now, if you're covering them in the sugar, you definitely don't got to worry about taking the extra step in with the glasses to clarify it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish popping these out and finish working on all these other flavors I got going, and I'll be back with the last part. All right, here we are. We're back for the last of it. That's a lot of gummies. The first few times I made the gummies, I used the bigger molds and only half the recipe and didn't really get a lot. So this time I thought, hey, let's double up the recipe. And I made 5 different kinds. That's a lot. If you're going to make a bunch of different kinds, I'd say use the smaller boxes and cut the recipe in half. Because, dang, that's a lot of gummies. Also, the ones that I put sugar on, the first time I put sugar on them, if you can see the yellow ones there, they got a little bit runny and gummy, so I kept them separated from the others. I'm not going to add the sugar on. I'm just going to leave them plain. Like these, all of these over here. One other thing is after the first set, I started lightly spraying the molds with a coconut oil spray. So much easier to get out. They just pop out. Just bam. Stick your finger through and they pop right out. One of the things you can do with these also, if you feel like they're a little sticky and they're sticking together, leave them on the a piece of wax paper in the fridge overnight, and they'll dry out somewhat, so they won't be quite as sticky. Or if you have a food dehydrator, you can actually put these in the food dehydrator and dehydrate them up somewhat, and that stickiness will go away, and they'll get a really gummy texture to them. But I got a glass jar over here. I'm going to be putting them in, and then I think I'm going to be having my son get his friends come over and help eat some of these. Take some to work. I also did my little gummy fishes here. They look just like the sweetest fish. I made it, like I said, with these, with the coconut oil spray. They just fall right. Your gummies will just come right out. And I'm sure you could use Pam. I just went with the coconut, figuring these are all fruit flavor. And the only Pam I have is butter flavor. I didn't want to butter flavor any. All right, well, got all the different colors, all the different flavors, and gelatin's actually really good for you. I need to get more gelatin in my diet, actually. But there they go, homemade gummies. Let's see if we get them in our jar. Now, if you don't have citric acid, or if you can't find citric acid, because it can be hard to get, I had to order that off of Amazon. I actually picked up a bottle of sour additive for candies at Hobby Lobby in the over in the cake section. That the first time I made them, so that's another thing you can use to make them sour if you want sour ones. And these will keep for a couple of weeks in the fridge. I'm going to put these ones with sugar, and I'm going to do my worms and my fish in a different container. Actually, I think I'll just let George eat the ones with sugar, the sour sugar, right away to get them taken care of. This is good for, say, you're having a birthday party, kids coming over, little snacks. And there you go. Big old jar of jellied gummy bears. I'd have to say they're healthier than the ones you're going to buy in the store because you're making them yourself and there's not all the added extra corn syrups. You're just getting the sugar from a box of Jell-O. Because we didn't add any sugar to these. Okay, with the exceptions of these right here. Alright, well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Cooking with Becca. Be sure to click like if you like my videos. Thank you.